In this video, I'm going to talk about media queries. What is a media query? And if you Google it, media queries W3, and click on it, it's how to make your websites responsive. For example, when the screen shrinks at about 500 pixels, this media query is set up to turn the color light blue. So, as you can see, turn light blue right around 500 pixels right there. There's other things you can do, for example, like you can add extra media queries by saying, I want the paragraph to not to display at a certain point. Let's say 500 pixels, so you could put display none, click run. So then at 500 pixels, the whole paragraph will just disappear. Let's say you don't want it to disappear, you just want the font size to change because you want it to fit into a smaller screen a little better. You can say font size 10 pixels at a certain point. And instead of disappearing, it'll shrink so that when you're looking at it in a smaller screen, you can still see all of the font that's in there. So how do you incorporate that into your project? Well, first of all, I decided I was going to type in there, why we do media queries, and we do it so that our content will fit into smaller screens on our website, including handheld devices like iPhones, Androids, and so on and so forth. Wanted to make sure I covered that point right there. That's why we do it. Now, in order to incorporate media queries, we need to link the Metaport viewport tab to our code. So if you do a search for viewport tab W3, one on the top there, there's a link you have to copy and paste into the header of your code so that media queries will work, and that's the link right there. Then you open it up and then you paste it right there just the way mine is pasted. Now you can incorporate media queries into your code and it will work. You can create a responsive page. And I wanted to show you my portfolio, monkeyrod.com, and if you scroll down to one of my projects, projects is the Google replica, and that's what we're going to be looking at right now. This is the one I'm opening now, the one that's on my computer. It's the same one, and we're going to right click in Google Chrome and select inspect, and we're going to use the developer tools that Google created for us. So here's the queries. If you click CSS and you click on main CSS, the queries will be there, just so you know how to get there. And here are the media queries that I set for the Google webpage that I created. That's the pixels right there. And as you open it and close it, it tells you, how many pixels you're at. So that's the beauty of the Google developer tools built into the browser. So as you can see, as you close it, the page changes and becomes responsive. If you look at the top right there, you're going to see the image disappear and the search bar shrink. See, the image just went. And we're going to look at how I did a couple of these things. The first one was the float left and the float right. That was for the bottom. So that was the footer tag, the ones on the bottom there. So instead of floating to the left, floating to the right, I didn't want them to float anymore. So when you get them smaller, they just go one on top of each other like that. Still doesn't look the best, so we'll see what we can do to fix that. The next one I did was the image I was talking about earlier, display none. Add a certain amount of pixels, which was, I believe, it's pretty small from where I'm looking, but 470 pixels. The image should disappear. And that's what that media query was right there. So it disappears at 470 pixels. Also, the share button should disappear as well at a certain point, and there it just went right there. And on a small screen like a handheld phone, you're not going to be able to fit as many icons on there. Now the things on the bottom also don't look so good. So let's look at the bottom. And it looks like on the bottom the class is bootlinks. I think it's I can't see it, it's pretty small. So I'm going to create a whole other media query right here. Just copy and paste that and put it here. But instead of .share button, I'm going to put whatever the class was there, bootlinks, .bootlinks. And I'm going to say display none. So as you can see, at a certain point now, the bottom, text disappears. So that's an easy fix. One thing you could do instead of display none, if you wanted to, is you could say text align center so that it lines up, and centers and lines up one on top of each other. So you can do that as well if you don't want it to just disappear. It'll still be there. So now it's centering. There's other things you could do as well. You can make the text smaller like we did in the last example, where you could remove some of the margin. There's a bunch of stuff you could do to make it fit in there to look better. This is how it would look and on iPhone 5, so not so good. So I could do some things to change that at the bottom there. This one looks okay. This is the iPhone 6 Plus. That thing on the bottom I don't like, so I'll probably have to remove that. This is how it looks on different handheld devices. So that's the beauty of the Google Developer Tool. It helps us to see what it would look like on different devices. But that's what media queries are. They're very tedious. It takes a lot of time. One thing I did want to mention was that max means less than and min means greater than, which is kind of the opposite of what you would think. So what I mean by that is when you're doing the media queries and you're deciding at what point pixel-wise it's going to change. I'll show you right here. So this is where you would find the max and the min. So you could put min there instead of max, and depending on what you want. So I just wanted to line it up. Max is less than, min is greater than. So greater than 393 pixels or less than. That's it. Thanks for watching.